Okay, cool, cool. So last time I was giving examples of different types of liquidity, right? I was giving different types of liquidity. There are examples, but I wasn't able to cover all of them, right? So I'm going to try my best to cover them all right now, although my network is still a bit shitty. Uh, pray for me. Okay, I think last time we talked about failed highs, failed lows. We're still going to use the same GBP, JPY. Failed highs, failed lows. Um, we have inducement principles. We have um, trend line liquidity. What else did we even talk about? Um, what else? What else? I haven't forgotten. No. Hey, please, can anyone remember where exactly we stopped last time? So I just know where to continue from. No, so, no. Okay, field ranges to are part of them, sure. So I'm just going to try my best. I think we stopped around this area here. Mm, okay, there's build up of liquidity. That's engineered liquidity. And also, I'd like to talk about another type today, apart from the trend line liquidity that we weren't able to touch last time. I'd like to talk about, okay, thank you very much, Skylar. The trend line, equal highs, equal lows, cool. Inducements, field highs, accumulation. Okay, I believe we did cover accumulations, we did cover the field highs, inducement. What was left was trend line and equal highs. And I also like to talk about something else, which is covering the other two types of liquidity. These are still found in the trend line liquidity anyway. It is structural liquidity and transactional liquidity. You hear them say SLQ or TLQ, whatever. They can also work in the aspect of field highs or field ranges or field lows, field ranges. Anyhow, how it works is like this. Now, I'm just going to give this brief example. We'll continue on the chart. Something like this, yeah. Where you have your low, your high, your higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Everything that happens in these lows here are liquidity. Everything here in these lows is liquidity. I want to draw. I don't know. Okay, I want to annotate. Everything that happens here, 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 right, and here as well. These are all liquidities. These are all liquidities, right? But this is the starting point, so we're just going to call it S, and this is the ending point. We're going to call it E, right? Don't mind my writing. So all these liquidity here have their own names. From these ones, like this, we call them your TLQs or transactional liquidity, right? Now, what are transactional liquidities? Transactional liquidities are liquidities that price reacts through. Now, put that in mind. Price reacts through transactional liquidities and reacts from structural liquidity. Now, what is structural liquidity? You can find structural liquidity at the first low, or in the case of like a downtrend, the first high that is made while going in that trend direction. Now, what do I mean? Okay, we created this our low here, then we now have this our high. Then a higher low was created, right? So this very first higher low that's created can now be called our SLQ, right? Now, in matters of ranges, okay, I'm coming on to admit someone. In matters of ranges, now you see that okay, um, price price after doing like a retracement into like the 50% of this old range is now trying to go out. Once it steps out of this entire thing, right? Once it steps out of this entire range, like from this range high to this range low, it has caused a break of structure. Now, from this low to this high that causes, like from this low that causes this break of structure is now one range. Now, everything that works in between or inside it is its liquidity now. And most times you see when price, instead of like falling in and then now going up again to do whatever it's doing, it falls into a particular area in it. Sometimes you'll be wondering, okay, why didn't it react off another block, probably from here as well? It's because it was targeting this SLK, right? All these things are important to take note of. I'm going to clear all these drawings now, all drawings, so that we can continue. I just put it out there because you definitely see them in markets, and I think it was even shown on this chart for better examples. So let's just look into it now. I don't know how much time we have left, so excuse me, I'm trying to check something. Okay. Please, at any point, if you can't hear me, just send a message and I'll try my best to see. Well, I believe everyone can hear me and can still see my screen as well. Okay, let's continue. So from here, we concluded that this entry here was like, okay, this was the accumulation where you have this high and this low and price just trading within it, or this low and this high price trading within this range to get its entry from, okay, I think this was a 5 minute order block, but I don't want to concentrate on this one anymore. We've seen that it happened like that. Okay. So now what happened here? Don't mind this whole thing. Let me just drag it back. Now what happened here? Now after price created this break of structure to the downside, remember it was a downtrend, right? After price created the break of structure to the downside, it tried a pullback. Now remember what I said, after a break of structure, we have a new range. After price has reacted from wherever it was within this old range, we now have a break of structure. This is a new range. And if you use your FIB tool to check it, it is a failed range that actually occurred. Why is it a failed range? It failed to accumulate or retrace into liquidity that was inside the premium, the sell area from this 50% to this top place. This was our premium and it failed to go into it. Let me just drag this out so you can see. Okay, more people are trying to join in. It failed to go into this 50% and it dropped and created another break of structure, falling down and all that stuff. Now, this becomes a failed high or a failed range. And why is that? Because it failed here. So there's liquidity, there's a gap, I don't know. Okay, there's imbalance. Let's just put it like that. There's an imbalance here, meaning that price needs to retrace properly, right? To make sure that okay, it is going to continue its sales like it did. So now what do we now target here? So when something like this happens, okay, working with liquidity, you can simply say that price is just going to work from here and our entry is there, right? Okay. There's nothing bad of entering from here now. Your entry there, your TP above this candle and all that. Okay, then I say your TP, your SL, sorry. Then your TP down here, right? Well, I've still been 5.11 or whatever. But now refining your entry, it would have been easier for you to refine your entry. Why? There was a reclaimed block here or a breaker block, whichever you want to call it, a breaker block that aligned with this FVG. And as you can see, price reacted beautifully off it and just went down. So after so did like a sniper entry now. It did that, then fell and created a new breaker structure. And with that, we now have a new range high, all right, and a new range low or whatever that I created. Okay, the range low was not fun until all this stuff. Anyway, right now, this this whole thing contains liquidity. All these highs are the liquidity points, right? Remember what I was telling you guys about transactional and structural liquidity. After the break of structure, we can see a retracement down here. I've been up here. Okay, hold on, sorry. This zoom stuff is obstructing my toolbar. So let me just drag it over here. Ah, is it network that's kicking you guys out? I've admitted you guys more than twice now. Sorry. This has been shit online. Oh, okay. Okay, so the break of structure the high that caused the breakout structure to the downside is this high. Now the low after that was this low, and the retracement that happened was here. So now we can say that okay, price will probably come back to retrace properly into a zone up here. Now I'm not on the replay tool. This is just me trying to give you like something that I'll have said okay would probably happen. It might not happen. It definitely might not happen. This is just me trying to explain what I'm teaching so far. So it could just be like, okay, since price failed to get into its premium zone here, let me just, since price failed to go into its premium zone here, now the next high after that is this one. Okay, sorry, hold on. My tools misbehaving. Next high after that, I'll be next low, sorry, after that is this one. Then the high or the retracement high did not enter a premium zone as well. Okay, which one is the next one? We can now say this one. None of them retraced properly. And now we can now see a retracement. So what are we going to say? This one will serve as our, this low down here will serve as our range low. Range high, range low. Now what is, excuse me, sorry. What is here now? What's opening now? Why am I gassing? What's here now? Price will probably react from inside here. Do not regard this box here. I'm just trying to make you understand how it works. I'm just going against everything that I am even working on right now on this chart. I'm just trying to make you understand this. It can go into this premium zone and start selling downwards. You can find an entry from wherever. Probably you can say, okay, let me look into this and find an entry. Let me see if I can find one. I call on to God. Mazi, it's like your network is bad, though. I can't really see any entry, but what I'm trying to say is that price can come into this premium zone where whatever it is coming into here and then sell back down. Now we weren't still able to look into um the whole trend line liquidity stuff. So let me just look for it on this other range that we left. I just want to make sure that you guys get the whole trend line liquidity and equal high liquidity concepts. But if you notice, sorry, I'm talking fast. I'm just trying to work with time. Zoom is very annoying. But if you notice, so far, as I'm working with liquidity, I'm still working with ranges. I'm still working with structure. As I said in previous class, they all are intertwined. One can't go with the other. You can't say, okay, I'm just looking for liquidity without understanding structure or ranges. It's just you looking for plain nonsense on the chart. Sorry, my network is bad. Like it's going to reload or something. Yeah, so you just say, okay, I'm going to just look for liquidity and I'll enter from anywhere. It's a very bad thing. That's why a lot of people will go for any strategy out there and later they'll be shouting that, oh, this strategy didn't work for me, this strategy didn't work. It's not that you are a bad trader. So it's not like you're a bad trader, it's not like um your strategy is bad. It's just that you fail to understand ranges, you fail to understand structure, you fail to understand what's happening in the market at that particular time on the time frame that you are on anyway. Well, that aside, it's important to just have these three in mind. Um, okay, that's loaded. Oh, delete. Okay, heat. You can stop the heat. Okay, so I'm looking for an example for this trend line liquidity. Uh, there really isn't anything I'm seeing. This whole entry here was from the higher time frame. I think that was the weekly time frame. It's a weekly FVG that GPJPY is bouncing off. Um, okay, let's just look at another chart now. We're just going to let us go to USD CHF, whether we can see what we're looking for there. Let me see how many minutes left. You can stop the heat. Okay, I guess you can work with like this. That's if you even cover up with this nonsense issue I'm having. No, all delete. You can stop the heat. You can is that Florida heat. Is that Florida heat. I'm serious. Okay. Well, it's not really all that, but okay, this is an example of a failed high. Whatever is happening right now is an example of a failed high or failed range, whatever you like to call it. I believe it is anyway. So the higher time frame, um, sorry, the higher time frame move of all this right now is that this is the breakout structure, right? So remember what Jamor taught you guys that ranges work with breakout structure. So after a breakout structure, you look for um your retracement, right? So this was the retracement after the breakout structure. So like, okay, this is the high that caused the breakout structure. Let me not confuse you guys. And after the breakout structure, this was the low that was created and the retracement and all that. So you can call it like your retracement low or whatever. Now this retracement failed to come into the premium zone of this previous range. So this is a failed high or a failed range. And it continued like that, like that, like that. I think this one tried to go into it. That's if you know. Yeah, this went into it, sha. But because of this failed range, that means there was still liquidity lingering in the market around here. So that is why price reaction off here was valid. That is why it was needed. So people be like, oh, price is just reacting off anything. No. Price could have reacted off here. Nothing is stopping it because this was the structural liquidity. In my own opinion, this was okay. This is the this is like the trend, right? Okay, you can say this is the trend, right? And price broke off it. Nothing is stopping price from saying, okay, it wants to come here. But because of this field high or this field range that occurred here, price just had to react off this. So price reacted off this on 4 time frame, probably found maybe there was a higher time frame order block. Let me just look for it for example's sake. I'm just trying to run through everything so that you guys will understand all this liquidity stuff. As long as there's liquidity somewhere that has not been taken, sorry, as long as there's liquidity that has not been taken somewhere, there's going to be a void that needs to be filled. So this thing here that did not retrace completely left this other block, right? And this now serves as either a failed range or inducement for this zone, right? And that's what the market used eventually, a sniper, and now it is falling. You understand? So it has done double break of structure in a way. On the last time frame, having a double break of structure, and it's going to continue selling. So it's just me trying to play around with this. Trendline liquidity would have worked here. Let me just give you the example. Right? Yeah, Abi. This trendline, Abi. Oh God, this is not trendline. This is still accumulation. But let me just show you. I want to work on that trend line. If I cannot do it this night, if I cannot do it tonight on this particular call or say, lesson, I'll just try my best to make a video. That is if Jamor will permit me. I'll make a video where I see it and I'll just explain it properly. That's okay by you guys. Okay, let me just increase my size. Yeah, Jesus walking. Okay, so market was going or accumulating within this range. Yes, it broke out of the range. Most times, market will break out of this range, but that's why you now have to understand candlestick anatomy now. And I'm very sure that a lot of you already know your candlesticks properly. The different like hammer, kinko. Now, it's still important to know. It's still important to know. I'm coming. Let me just edit this box so that I will see it properly. Um, I don't know, that's too much. Okay, so it's important here, but that's not the point of why I'm talking about the anatomy. I'm talking about anatomy because it's showing reaction, it's showing rejection. Now, price broke out of this range low, right? This range low that caused the whole stuff. Price broke out of it. but it reacted of that, okay, this is a strong support zone or support area, right? So this was a strong support area. It broke out of it, went back up, okay, it broke this high. It still fell back down, tried to go below this and still had the same reaction like last time, right? Let me just draw that. Okay, same reaction. Here it did something similar, had the reaction candle, then started buying from there. So now it possibly and properly broke this high, right? It broke that high, and now we'll be looking for re-entries. Now re-entries will only come in from lower time frame, or you can just say, okay, if I can just find something here tangible, I'll just enter. On the 4 hour time frame, you have just seen just this week, but this week now serves as a breakout block on a lower time frame. I'll show you how. Let's say 60 minutes. That is 1 hour. Hey, what did I press? Who's 66? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I did nonsense. I hope you guys are getting it, Sha. Let's not be like I'm just rambling here. Please, if you are not understanding anything, don't be shy. I think Jamor should even be here, sir. You know, be saying nonsense now. The guy will just look me. Please, if you don't understand, say something now. Oh. Don't go report me to your mentor and be like, oh, Riley taught us nonsense. Or just there talking. Hmm. Ah, where's my chat? Okay. Ah, so Jesus. Can you guys hear me? Jesus Christ. Okay, okay, okay. Ah, it will enter your head by force. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm doing it. Oscar. Okay, probably, yeah. There was news on this day. Okay, let me check. This was 1 o'clock on the 4th of October. Being 1 o'clock, 4th of October, I'm very sure this was the NFP. So that's why this whole candle was here. Now, what was behind this candle? Look at it. I remember we were just seeing a very weird looking wick, but it was eventually just a breaker block, right? Or just a breaker block, right? Okay, so a breaker block, you have found your entry. Let's just walk up from here. Let me just see how it goes. So breaker block, found your entry, whatever target, oh, sure. Whatever target you want, so you get it. Your man, if you want to be like Jamor, your target can be anywhere. um, okay, what happened here? In 2 hour time frame, this will have been a double candle if I'm not mistaken. 10 and 11. No, I don't know, Sha, but this looks like an FVG. I don't want to just be entering nonsense. I don't want to be entering nonsense. Okay, time is running out. We have 10 more minutes. I am getting it, hopefully. Okay, let me just take questions now. Let me not be like I'm saying rubbish. If you don't understand, clear me now. Let it not be like I just came to waste you guys' time. Please, I'm here for your questions. If you have any, let me know so that we can treat it within the remaining 10 minutes that we have. Come on, please let me increase volume. Increase volume for me on the phone. Again, I see increase. What is it once you're pressing it? Press it once. Ah, Jesus Christ. Either you people cannot hear me or you people don't just want to talk. Okay, if you want to unmute your mic and ask your question, that's fine. If you have any questions and you don't want to unmute your mic, you can simply just ask normally. Okay, I was right. So there was an FVG. So I'm just going to be walking around. Was shy. Okay. When you chop yourself, don't call my name. Together. Should I just understand that liquidity is very, very important. And if you cannot spot liquidity, it will be used as liquidity that day. So take your time. It really isn't anything too special. I won't lie. It's not that special. Just something small. How does liquidity typically behave around major economic news events? Okay. Hmm. Okay, so how does it behave during, okay, let me read this again. How does liquidity typically behave around major economic news events? Now, news events can't really be predicted. How it works is that um, whatever news there is at that particular time, a lot of people, a lot of all these big players like hedge funds and everything are looking at it. Now, for example, now let's talk about the GDP now, and it's a US news, right? Um, if they notice that thanks to the news, the GDP of the US dollar is like reduces by 1% or whatever units it reduces by from the previous one that they had before, they would sell off the US dollar. It doesn't mean that they'll sell off immediately. Sometimes they might buy a little to just induce people and sell. But that's how it works. That's how I understand the news to work. You get, I might not be very, very correct with this though, but yeah, that's how it works. Now, liquidity on its own is very, very one kind when it comes to news. So I won't really advise you for now to going into news and say, okay, because I'm seeing this particular liquidity zone, I'm just going to set my limit there. Well, I'll start buying now, and when it hits the, you will chop SL. This is not something that you should just play with as a new Richard. Take your time. Once you've gotten your shit grounded, then you can say, okay, I want to start looking at this news day or this news day. You understand? Um, it's either the news is the manipulation or it's the distribution. Yes. Hmm? Yes, you're correct. Yes. In your last example, you said something about a pulsive move breaking structure. Is that why you did not seek out liquidity to be taken out before entry? I don't understand. Okay, I talk about this particular place, dummy. I talk about this zone. You can unmute your mic, or we still have like 5 minutes left. Okay, it's this zone, right? Okay, no problem. So let me read your question again to understand. In your last example, you said something about a pulsive move. Mazi, this is your network. In your last example, you said something about a pulsive move breaking structure. Is that why you did not seek out liquidity to be taken out before entry? Okay, now when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? Excuse me. Ah, good. Oh my gosh, Corona. In stuff like that, right? It doesn't happen just yet. You shouldn't expect so much of like a pullback just yet. Immediately, it just breaks out of zones like this. The system's resources may affect your quality. Try closing. Hold on, I'm coming. I just got an alert on my system for some reason. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to clear up something. Okay. So stuff like this, you shouldn't really expect too much of a pullback just here. If you can get okay, um, oh God, how do I explain this thing for you, God of heaven? One more, see question. I know what to say. I hope to know what to say. How do I explain this? You shouldn't really expect too much of a pullback just yet, immediately after a pulsive breakout like that. Because at the end of the day, market has its targets. You understand? This pulsive move right now was just its normal movement to aim for that target. Remember the target that I was talking about? Probably thanks to the failed high that was here, this other block now had inducements, and that was the target. So unless it's targeting something like this, unless it's trying to retrace properly into a failed zone, yeah, okay, then you can now say, okay, you can draw your trend line and your fib to and be like, okay, I am expecting price to properly enter this zone. Why? Because we now have a breakout structure. We have a high that is causing a retracement and probably is going to like sell from the is going to buy from the discount. Sorry. So yeah, I hope that that explains it. I don't know if it's rubbish. I'm even saying, God help me. Hey, Jamor, okay, okay. We still have like 2 minutes left. Is there anybody that has a question? Dami, please, was I able to answer your question? No. So no one else has any question. Okay, I guess just remembered something Jamal said about accumulation, distribution, and yes, retracement. Yeah, there's this thing about um AMD that people don't talk about. Yeah, he even told us in like Peep Farmers 1.0. It was like, yes, there's going to be accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? But what people don't talk about is the retracement that happens after a distribution, which you cannot get like your entries from the FIB2, like sorry, I'm saying FIB2, FVG, the FVG and like breaker block stuff, a full pullback into the discount zone on the FIB2, so on and so forth. That kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, um, I guess I guess that's all. Since no one has much, uh, I guess that. Yeah. When the recording drops, I will send it to Jamor to help me put it on the group. But thank you guys for coming again. My name is Riley. It was fun having you guys here. Please, I am begging you in the name of God. If you have any question, ask now. Let not be like I thought rubbish show. Well, anyway, there's no problem. Uh, if you might need my contact eventually, you can meet Skylar. He has it, and you can DM me your question. There's no problem with that. So, good night to everyone.